Hey everybody, Bam Collectibles here to showcase to you a complete Naruto and Boruto Funko Pop collection. A huge thank you to Product Sage Collectibles because we're going to be hosting a giveaway during this video. To be eligible, all you need to do is leave a comment below on your favorite pop scene today, follow both myself and them on Instagram. I'll leave all the links in the pinned comment of the video. 2 winners will be selected from the comments and announced on January 8th on Product Sage Collectibles Instagram. They are my go-to site to pick up anime Funko Pops, so if you ever are in the market for some, I'll leave a link in the description to their shop. If you are new to my channel, I normally unbox some pretty awesome higher-end collectibles as seen here, so be sure to subscribe to check out some of that other content. Kicking off the Pop Collection Showcase, we have the OG standard Naruto of him standing there. The 71 on the left you'll see is not colored, while the one on the right is. That's the original versus the re-release. And then we have the overpowered pink-haired puppet, I mean Sakura. Totally joking, I am not a Sakura hater by any means. And then we have the original Sasuke of him standing there just like Naruto. We have the original without the blue logo on the 72. Seeing how basic and boring these poses are, it's amazing to see how far the Pop Collection has come. Next up, we have a bunch of different Narutos. Here is the classic Naruto run, and then also we have Naruto lunging mid-air with a Rasengan. Fun fact, this is the first Funko Pop I ever purchased in a store that really got me beginning on this journey of collecting every single one. Now we have Naruto eating some ramen, easily a top 20 favorite for me. Really wholesome. You don't get too many wholesome pops in the collection, but this one definitely brings back some fond memories. As the sticker showed, that is a box lunch exclusive, as well as this one, the sexy Jutsu Naruto. Definitely a good one here. I never expected to see this one made. Did a good job of covering up all the necessary parts. Next up is Kakashi in that original pose where he's just standing there. I believe he did come out a little bit around when Sakura did. Thankfully, the concepts did expand, and then we had the Hot Topic exclusive of Kakashi using his lightning blade. Also pretty awesome that we got to see his Sharingan added on this one, but still, he's just standing there. So while this was awesome, GameStop thankfully came out with their exclusive in that ramen bowl box thing that they had come out, where we have him more downward posed if he's actually forming the Chidori in his hand. I'm sure that's not the last time we'll see him. Another one will probably be made in the future, but with all 3 of these awesome ones reviewed, we have the recently released Kakashi Susano. Some people say Susano, I say Susano. Please let me know in the comment section below which one you go with, but I love this one. So excited that it actually released. I also want to mention that I'll be doing a video in the near future where I'm going to have a high-end skilled painter repaint this Funko Pop. We'll see what it looks like compared to the originals that they come out with. Let's tone it down a notch and bring out the handsome devil himself, Rock Lee, a Hot Topic exclusive. Love how he is standing on a stand, mid-leaf hurricane in the air, so great concept there. And then we have the more common version of Shikamara coming in, just one of the basic line that was released earlier this year. You may have noticed some of the pops have hard case protectors, while others don't. The ones that don't are newer to my collection, but let's talk about these hard cases. These bad boys are made by $7 a pop, and they're called the Pop Shield Armor Hard Protectors, or for short, my favorite cases to use in my collection. All around the top were round magnets that allow it to just magnetize right on. There's no room for dust or anything to get inside of it. The pop simply slides right in here, and then once in, you just drop the top and it goes on nice and secure. Not to mention they stack so perfectly, so they're just an aesthetically pleasing case to have to get your collection grouped together. And then here we have the last one for this set is going to be awesome, coming in a recent release that came out. If you watched my last year's collection showcase, then the Pop Shield armors are not new to you, but what is new is they came out with 6-inch versions to put some of the larger pops in, as you see here. And then one of the most beloved characters to be represented in the series is going to be Jariah on the Toad. And then we have these 2 to complete the signing. What I hope for someday is that one day, maybe we can have Tsunade riding Katsuyu and also Orochimaru riding Manda. Oh, the amazing and awesome concepts that are yet to come that I hope Funko gets wind of and comes out with. Another unexpected but warmly welcomed concept came out of Kakashi in his Onbu outfit. Now I look forward to hopefully grabbing Itachi when he releases as well. I actually wasn't able to secure him in the first pre-orders when it went up, but look forward to adding him to the collection next year. Here we have a common version of Minato coming in, definitely a strong common that they came out with, crouched down on the ground. If you didn't notice before, also I teased at which pops are going to be given away. Here's the triple anime version of him standing, holding a Rasengan in his hand. And then the Flying Thunder God, Kunai, I believe is its name, but really cool that they came out with this. I was shocked that they came out with kind of multiples of the same character so recently with each other. It was also great to expand the Akatsuki line this year with having Pain added to that collection. I believe he was another common that released as well, so really cool. And then there is one of my all-time favorites, an older one in the series, but the Itachi that came out, him doing like right about to go into a Genjutsu pose or something. I remember when I first started collecting, this Itachi was probably around like 60 to 80 because he had been out for a while. They never re-released it. So he was definitely a chase one to get later on. I'm so happy they had a re-release for him, so I grabbed him cheaper. And then we have goofy, silly old Toby and his mask, an older common in the collection. So many more members of this group to be represented that we hopefully will see later this year. And now it's time to showcase the Karama Army coming in. We have the standard version of him, very basic, an older one. You can see the white behind the 73. And then there is the flocked version that came out months later. Then I'm so happy this one re-released as well because it was expensive for some time. But glad to have this one in the collection because I didn't have it in there last year. One of my all-time favorite 6 inches they ever came out with is the glow-in-the-dark version of him. I'm not 100% sure of this, but somebody can let me know below in the comments. Is this considered a vaulted pop where it's not going to ever see a re-release? Either way, I think this is definitely one of the most expensive ones that exist in the Naruto Shippuden line. And then there's one of the coolest, which is Karama with the Susano cloak surrounding him. I loved it when this one came out. I wasn't expecting it as well, but definitely some cool options. Man, could you imagine if we got like a miniature 1,000-hand Hashirama to go next to something like this? And it seemed very fitting to follow that up with the original version of GameStop's Madara that came out. This one was definitely a hard to find one when it first came out for me as well. I missed like the first 2 pre-order waves, so I had to track it down, thankfully on the 3rd when it did release. And then there's the AAA Rinnegan Sasuke that came out. Now, I know there's not a lot of these floating around, especially the chases, because there's so many that are backed up at the port. And then we have the common of Kabuto, another character that I wouldn't expect to be prioritized over other characters compared to how beloved they are or their importance to the whole story itself. But I guess still a good character to have for sure. And now for my least favorite pop that they ever released, the glow-in-the-dark 6-pass Naruto. Not a fan of this one at all. I mean, I guess it is kind of cool if you do have the glow-in-the-dark aspects to light it up in your collection, but to me, I think it just looks weird, to be honest. It's not painted at all. And so then we have the regular colored version of that one right here. This one is within my top 15 of the favorites that they've released so far. And along with this one, I also had a friend gift me for Christmas a version with the special edition sticker on there. So there's that. I mean, there's not too much differences between the two. The paint jobs are different, but I don't think that's intentional. I think it's just they had different runs, and so the paint wasn't perfectly matched with each other. And then there's the 6-pass Sage Naruto, which came out in the common line. I can't wait for next year's common. I think Kiba's actually coming out. I know this sounds strange, but Kiba's definitely a favorite of mine, even though he didn't get a lot of screen time, but love the eyes on that one. There's also a glow-in-the-dark variant that came out. If you look at the back, that fiery explosion is definitely a little bit more bright than the other, obviously painted differently, and the orbs also look great on this one. Personally, I probably wouldn't prefer the fiery background, but it might be to counterbalance some of the other weight that's being distributed on the statue. What they don't make enough of are these anime moments for Naruto. Now, I'm glad that we got, obviously, the final battle between Naruto and Sasuke, but man, the possibilities of things that they could make. I think I saw a fan art floating around one time of Rock Lee versus Gar. What incredible possibilities to make more of these in the future. Special thank you to Matt. I missed this one when it was in stores, and so I contacted him through eBay, and he lived locally and was willing to sell it to me and ship it really quickly so we could make it in for the showcase. But Sage Mode Naruto is my favorite form in the series, so this is a dream come true to have him sitting on Gamakichi. Now I wonder, can we get a Toad army going on with Minato riding Gamabunta someday? That would be awesome. Gaara is one of my favorites that they did sculpting wise. This is really such a difference between some of the early ones where they're just standing there. So really a cool little dynamic pose going on. And the Hot Topic metallic colored edition that came out with, not a fan. This is probably like my number 2 least favorite that they came out with aside from that 6-pass Naruto. You can see a little bit of the paint differences in the eyes and the sand, but not a favorite of that one. Time to rabbit trail a bit, and we'll take a look at the Boruto line of pops that have come out so far. We have, of course, Boruto himself. Very much looking forward to this line expanding over time. Though I'm not a huge fan of the series or show, there are moments that I have enjoyed, and I think many different characters they could make successfully and come out with some awesome variations for pop characters. Whenever they do alternative versions like we see here, the Mitsuki in the Sage mode, plus glow in the dark, you know, we've seen the Gaara repaints in the past, right? The metallic looking Gaara. That's so lazy and sloppy to me. When they do something like this, it's really hitting home for me. I love the extra effort they put into those concepts. I do love the Funko Specialty series of adult Sasuke. He does only have one arm in here with the sleeve just flapping along there. I did see one time like a leaked prototype that they planned on originally making a chase version of this with a Chidori stream going down his sword, but I don't think that actually ever came out that I'm aware of. Would be cool if they did in the future though. And then Hokage Naruto in his normal form, and my favorite one that they come out with from the Boruto line is the chase version. Though it's just a recolor, it's an awesome recolor. I'm going to be doing a top 10 at the end of this video coming up soon. He would definitely be in it if he was in the Naruto Shippuden line, but because he's Boruto, I did leave him out. If I could ever have a wish come true, I'd love to see a Baryon mode of Naruto made. Here is a concept taken from TooMuch_art on Instagram. Definitely check out their work. They do some amazing concepts. If anybody does custom pops, I'd love to have this one made someday too. That'd be awesome to showcase in the collection. Here's a nice little glow-in-the-dark chase variant concept they came up with as well. If you're listening, Funko, make it happen. I know so many fans who would love to see that brought to life. Now, for our last rabbit trail, before we get into the top 10, I did want to show you, I have these pop pins that came out. Because they were Naruto themed and there was only 5 that released, I figured it'd be perfect to pick these up and add them to the collection. My man Kakashi is struggling to stand up. You know what? I'm probably gonna try one more time and... all right, we'll just leave him downward. But what's interesting is these are Naruto Shippuden, but Sasuke on the right side almost looks like young curse mark Sasuke. So very interesting, but here is probably my favorite that they created, the 6-pass Sage Naruto on here. And I mentioned 5 before, they only show 4. There is a golden chase variant that they came out with for Naruto. So this is cool. Glad I added them to the collection. Hope they do expand these over time. Though I like main pops more, these are also a cool little rabbit trail. It is that time. We shall light the top 10 ceremonial candle and get this show on the road to see what my personal top 10 are. I'm not saying these are the top 10 best out there, but for me, these are my favorite that they've created so far. Coming in at top 10 is Kaguya. She made it on the list last year, and I definitely couldn't take her off. Such a great sculpt. Technically, we have 2 characters represented in this one, right? You got Mama's boy sitting in her cuff. Coming in for number 9, we have Curse Mark Sasuke. Just as we mentioned for the figures, it's a bit odd that we have him in the Naruto Shippuden line, because to me it would seem like this is younger Sasuke, but nonetheless, one of my favorites. I love all the curse marks that they painted on his face. For number 8, this one's a little controversial for me because, you know what, I would have ranked Madara a little bit higher on the list, except for all they did for this one is add an extra weapon onto him. I think there's other forms we have yet to see for him in this series, so to just do the same one over, add a weapon, a little lazy, so he's higher on the list, but still, nonetheless, an awesome character to have in the collection. Number 7 is happily going to be a part of the giveaway, which is the Chase glow-in-the-dark version of Minato coming in. A great one from AAA that they did. So I love this character so much. One of my favorite in the series. Definitely, probably my favorite Hokage if I had to say and pick one. But glad we can give one of these away in that coming up on January 8th. Thank you again, Product Sage Collectibles, for that. For number 6, we have, again, another giveaway with the masked version of Onbu Kakashi. Definitely worthy to be in the top 10. If you haven't already, be sure to notate which one is your favorite you've seen so far or the last remaining top 5. Leave a comment below to let me know, as well as following both me and Product Sage Collectibles on Instagram so you have a chance to win that bad boy. Coming in at number 5 is the Glow Chase for Rinnegan Sasuke. Now, thank you to my buddy Kevin who let me borrow this one. This is actually not mine. Mine is still waiting to be delivered. I believe it's, again, stuck at the port somewhere. So can't wait for mine to come in. But Kevin, I appreciate you letting me complete this showcase today by having him represented in the collection. This top 10 was not easy to do. In fact, it was impossible. And coming in at number 4 is more of an emotional Funko Pop, being Jariah with his popsicles. I actually had the chance to attend New York Comic-Con this year, so I was excited to get him in person when it was canceled. Definitely disappointed, but so happy he's finally released and again represented in the collection. This is the first, solo figure of Jariah that we've seen show up, other than the one with him on the toad before. For number 3, we are getting up there, and it's going to be none other than the glow-in-the-dark version of Pain. Again, take my top 3 with a grain of salt. This is one of my favorite arcs, also one of my favorite antagonists in the series, and it reminds me of that moment when he appeared above the village using Shinra Tensei. My only complaint or wish is that we would see a Pain using Chibaku Tensei, maybe the right side of his cloak being ripped, but maybe one day. It's not the last time we'll probably see him. Coming in at number 2, I'm a little biased on this one, definitely, so it's gonna be Sage Mode Naruto. Last one, he held the number 1 spot, and I almost wish I would have included the 6 inches in this, but there's too many cool 6 inches that probably would have made it up in the top 10 for this one. But for the single 4-inch Funko Pops from the Naruto line, Sage Mode ranks really high up there for me. He probably would have taken number 1 again, but I don't think that'd be interesting. There's another one that's a little better, I think, in my opinion, and really newly released. I bet you there's somebody who know who this is because I haven't showed it yet, but coming in at number 1 is Itachi with crows. This bad boy checks all the right boxes for me, right? It's a beloved character. His hair is blowing in the wind. He's floating in the air. He's almost mid-using genjutsu. Got crows coming off the side. Just coming in at number 1 for me. Let me know your thoughts on this top 10 and also who you think should have made it and should not have made it in the comment section. As a grand finale, and thank you for sticking around this long, I want to showcase to you 2 of the special things I have, which is the PSA authenticated signed pops from the voice actors of Naruto. As you can see, Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto, signed this one over here with the slogan, "Believe it." Not too much a fan of that one in the English, but is what it is. On the right side, we have Sasuke's voice actor, Yuri Lowenthal. As I mentioned before, I do unbox several higher end collectibles, and we actually had Yuri Lowenthal on the channel when I unboxed a Sasuke statue. Be sure to check that out at the end. I'll put the link up right here. Thanks again, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Do what you love and love what you do. Bam out.